But oh, please grab hold of this truth. Please hear this truth. It's so simple, but we're missing it. Obeying God produces miracles. You want miracles in your life? Obey Him. You're saying, Raina, I don't understand why God tells me to submit to my husband. I don't understand you, but I still love you. I don't understand much about life, but we still do it. Simply obey. Why? Obedience is better than sacrifice. Oh, I'm so glad y'all have been faithful in giving. But you know God would much rather you obey than sacrifice financially for this church. Obedience produces miracles. Notice what Deuteronomy 6:24 says. It says, the Lord our God commanded us to obey all of these laws and to fear Him, there's that fear again, so that He can continue to bless us and preserve our lives. What does He mean by bless? It's a beautiful word. It's a Hebrew word. It's taub. It means God's best, God's bounty, God's favor. We see in Psalm 21:3, it said God blessed him with success and prosperity. What's He saying there? You see, in God's response to our obedience, God's response to our obedience is to open up the windows of heaven and pour out His miracle working power in our life. Let's make this personal. God's response to Todd's obedience, God's response to Jeremy's obedience, God's response to Richie's obedience is to open up the windows of heaven and pour out His miracle working power in our lives. You see, obedience, write this down if you think about it. Obedience produces it was God miracles. You know what I mean by that? I mean, there's a lot of miracles in our life, but we can talk ourselves out of it. But obedience causes God to move in such a way, in such an incredible and amazing way that only God gets the credit. Don't you want that? I want that. I want God to move in my body. I want God to move in my marriage. I want God to move in my children. I want God to move in this church and in this community in such a way that all I could say was, it was God. I want next Sunday at the end of the service for Jason to stand up, undone, his hair all messed up. Why? Because God moved in such a way, and all he can say next Sunday is, it was God. But how are we going to get that? What's our part? We got to obey.